Hey guys! Okay, as promised, I said I was going to make a Stitch adoption story, and that's what today's video is going to be. So I decided it was pretty appropriate that Stitch should come out in his playpen for the video. So here's Stitch running around. So, for starters, I adopted Stitch November 23rd of 2013. So his birthday is coming up super soon. I'm so excited. We're gonna have to do like a little cake for him and a little celebration. But anyways, so yeah, to leave off where I left off last video for my history of hamsters, I had lost a hamster after only having him a week, and I had debated getting another one and all that whole process, and Stitch came up for adoption, and I wasn't really sure if I was ready for another one, but I just felt really drawn to Stitch and decided that I did want another one, and I was, you know, also wanted a robo. So we made the appointment to go and see Stitch, and obviously we brought him home. But it was a little interesting. The lady only had, you know, she had two left from the litter, Stitch and his brother. And the lady had asked if I would be interested in fostering the brother so she could have, you know, a tank for another litter, or, you know, more rescues to bring in. And basically I would foster him while he got a home, and, you know, if he worked out with me, then he would just stay with me. So somehow I got talked into doing it, and it seemed like, you know, something fun, and I looked at my sister who had two girls that got along so well, so I was kind of excited. I was like, well, hopefully they'll either work out or somebody will want to adopt him. I mean, one way it'll work out, and I mean, either way I was keeping Stitch. So we brought two of them home. And I didn't have, you know, the room for two. I only had a 20-gallon, which at the time I thought honestly would be okay for two anyways. But obviously that is just not nearly enough space for two. But it was only a temporary living environment for them anyways, and so I brought them home. And they seemed to get, you know, along really well in the car. And I mean, they would fight like over like cute fighting over like food and stuff in the take-home cage. But I mean, nothing serious. And honestly, I didn't realize for the first few days. I just always would see one hamster, not the other. And I guess in the realization, I think I only ever saw Stitch. But like even at night, only one hamster would ever really be out. But I figured once I went to sleep, they'd both come out. And they had two wheels and all of that. But one night, like a couple days after having them, I woke up to hearing squeaks and stuff in the tank. And it was probably like 4 a.m. And, you know, of course, immediately got up and turned the lights on, and they were fighting. So, of course, I immediately, you know, grabbed one hamster and pulled him out, and it ended up being Stitch. So, not knowing what in the world to do, obviously they're fighting, I just instinctively was like, okay, we'll just split him up for a little bit, and everything will calm down. So, I stuck Stitch in his ball and let him roll around my room, because you know, they were only in our house, whatever, for a couple of days, so they were definitely not ready to come out of their cage and really, you know, be around people. But was the alternative keeping him in the cage where, you know, he was very aggressively fighting his brother. So I, you know, figured 25 minutes, that would be fine. So he played in his ball for probably 10 or 15 minutes. And, you know, basically long enough for his little brother to go find a spot and fall asleep. Well, his brother had burrowed down and, you know, I figured was asleep. So I took Stitch and stuck him back in his cage. And Stitch instantly ran over, like I guess he must have been able to smell him, ran over, went down the burrow and chased him out. And I mean, very just, you know, aggressively, obviously territorial. So I grabbed his brother and pulled him out and put him in a playpen for a little bit, because I didn't have a second, you know, tank or anything I could put him in. So yeah, that was a very long, exhausting night. And it obviously became very clear that they could not be housed together. So after Stitch, you know, went in his usual house and fell asleep in, I, you know, then felt safe enough to put his brother back in. And, you know, his brother was very meek and quiet, laid back, so I knew he wasn't going to go, you know, start a fight. And, you know, well enough, he went over and found a, you know, a spot to sleep in. So yeah, as soon as I made sure they were good and asleep and no fighting was going to occur, soon as stores started opening, I went out trying to find something I could house his little brother in, because obviously it was definitely not going to work out for those two in the same tank. So I popped into a thrift store, and very luckily they had a tank for sale. It was only a 10-gallon, which was way too small, but at least it was a safe environment for him for the time being. So I picked that up and came home and set that up and moved his little brother into that. Called the rescue and explained what had happened, and just, you know, that either way, that unfortunately I wasn't going to be able to keep him because I did not have room at the time for another 20-gallon tank. So very regrettably, I knew I couldn't keep him for sure. And luckily, a couple days later, a really good adoption came through, and it was really hard to, you know, not be able to keep him because, you kind of do get attached, even though in a way I was trying not to. But I know he got a really good home, and if it was it was a good rescue and a good home, so at least it was not to just ache a family with a critter trail or something. So sadly, we obviously didn't get to keep him, but I'm very blessed and lucky to have Stitch, and he's, you know, the little man in my life. He's got his little peanut. But yeah, I'm very happy and blessed, as I said, you know. So we started the taming process, which, you know, anybody that has a robo know that it's a lot of work and a lot of patience, but it's so worth it in the end. Cute little face. Say hi. You're talking about me. But yeah, so, and it took a while for him to gain trust, of course, but slowly but surely he, you know, started to trust me and would let me feed him treats, and then eventually would come and stand up in my hand. And nowadays he will, you know, when I stick my hand in his cage, he'll come out and get up in it, and he knows he's going to get food from it. And he likes to be picked up. Like if he's in my hand, I can raise my hand up, and I can nowadays somewhat slightly pet him a couple times before he's like, yeah, no. But I'm very lucky and blessed that every day that he gives me something, and, you know, I'm okay with whatever he gives me. If he never wanted me to be able to pet him or touch him, that would be okay, because whatever is okay with him. You know, I don't want to, you know, try or like push myself onto him and then him just in the end just, you know, not want it, and just, yeah. So you know, I'm very, as I said, happy with him, and you know, he started my hamster love truly, you know. So yeah. And he's enjoying moving his rocket. So yeah, you know, and anybody that has robos know that they are just a blast. They're goofy and, you know, just unpredictable. You can just, I don't know, there's just their personality is just, sometimes it's just fun to sit back and watch him at night. You just watch his humor of things that he does. But anyways, yeah, that was his adoption story. Nothing, I guess, really too amusing about it, but yeah, there it is. And obviously you guys have seen Minnie's adoption story. So yeah, I guess that's it for that. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye. See, I don't like. Here you go. So I was in the middle of looking through the footage, and he gets in his little rocket ship and starts moving, and he's crashed it into his saucer. Silly little baby, come here. Oh, ouch. Here. You want to go like wreck it again? That was so funny.